We're here with the people of the Totem Collective. We have here developers, creators, enthusiasts, and a lot of different profiles of people all involved in indie video game development around the world. Estamos aquí con personas del colectivo Totem, un colectivo de desarrolladores y desarrolladoras independientes, entusiastas, alrededor de todo el mundo. Tenemos con ustedes a creadores de videojuegos de Israel, Brasil, bueno, Costa Rica, por supuesto. Y este colectivo y la universidad van a estar trabajando muy de la mano para ayudar al desarrollo de la industria nacional en Costa Rica. The collective and the university are going to be working together hand by hand in the upcoming times in order to help grow the development community in Costa Rica and the development community around the world, and to strengthen your professional lives as video game developers, video game animators, video game artists. Todo esto es para fortalecer sus capacidades como desarrolladores de videojuegos o artistas para videojuegos o artistas de animación. Esto es para darles más oportunidades, abrirles más puertas y que puedan empezar a construir una red de contactos internacionales propia, una red para ustedes. This is also a way to create an international network of contacts for you guys, for you students, so that you're able to further impulse your careers around the world. So let me introduce you to Aidan Ross. He is head of games at Totem. Déjenme presentarles a Aidan Ross. Él es el jefe de juegos dentro de Totem. Entonces, Aidan, if you want to present yourself.
Sure. Hey, everybody. My name is Idan. I'm an indie game developer, and I'm also a game design lecturer in Bezalel Academy of Art and Design in Jerusalem. I'm very happy to see you all here today. This is a very exciting moment in Totem, I think, historically, because this is quite a large collective of people here. We have game developers from our collective meeting all of you guys, all of the students who are coming to try out our games. I'm a firm believer in education, and I'm really excited for this opportunity to meet with you all. Without further ado, I would like to explain to you what Totem is, what we're about.
1 second.
And yes,
Idan, to make the translation.
Sure, go ahead.
Entonces, para los que no hablan inglés, Idan se presentó diciendo que él es el desarrollador independiente, también es profesor en la Universidad de Jerusalén, y que este es un momento muy emocionante también para el colectivo de Totem, dado que van a tener, pues, tanto las personas del colectivo, los creadores de los juegos, y ustedes la oportunidad de encontrarse, de colaborar y de ver cómo podemos impulsar al siguiente nivel esta industria global. Go ahead, Aidan.
Cool, thank you. And by the way, just remind me if you need to pause me for a second to explain. I'm going to share a slideshow, a presentation, so maybe we can stop just after every slide so that you can translate what I was saying, if that sounds good.
Cool. Yeah.
Perfect. So here we go. Slideshow. There you go. So Totem, we are, as you can see here, we are currently the only platform that we know of that allows players, gamers, to use and own and purchase their assets and play with them across different games to hopefully tap into the $200 billion gaming industry through a new type of experience, which is allowing players to go from one game to another with their assets. And we're building a platform where an infinite number of assets can be bought and owned in order to give players this unique new experience. So the platform is in the core of what we're doing. We're building a layer of technology that enables this sort of experience. And down here at the bottom, you can see Basically, this is a representation of one avatar, one character that was generated in the Totem platform across multiple different games.
Bien, lo que hay de en cuenta es, dice ahí construyendo el Indiverso. Esta es la única plataforma en el mundo que permite a los desarrolladores crear juegos que se interconectan entre sí. Eso quiere decir que yo puedo conseguir mis propios assets o mis propios avatars, mis propios insumos, armas, accesorios dentro de los juegos, personalizarlos a mi manera y ver cómo se ve esa personalización en los diferentes juegos que están interconectados. Por ejemplo, si mi avatar tiene afro y barba y piel café, ¿cómo se vería ese mismo piel café, afro, barba en otro juego? Así que es una plataforma en donde el número infinito de juegos pueden ser comprados, pueden ser desarrollados, pueden ser hechos míos para que los jugadores tengan un real control y poder sobre sus experiencias, haciéndolas únicas. Y quieren llevarse en este Indiverso una parte de ese gran mercado de miles de billones de dólares de la industria de los videojuegos que hay alrededor en el mundo.
Thank you, Gabriel.
You're
So
welcome.
a little bit about the economic model, because we're building Totem with indie creators in mind, and we're trying to build a model that allows them to earn a revenue by creating their games. And the idea is that we're going to create this big creator economy where all of the creators are going to work together and collaborate. Each studio or game developer creating their own game, their own small world, but those games can be connected through various means that I'll explain in just a bit. But the core idea is that Totem assets can be bought from the platform by players and also sold to other players at a fixed price. And the revenue from those sold assets is split between the developers, between the different game creators who are creating the experiences for the players in a fair and transparent way. So this is an economic model that we're building that anyone in the world can join today, because all of our technology is open source. So even you, if you're interested in trying it out or start creating your own creations on the platform, you can do it because it's free, and you'll even be able to hopefully monetize in the future.
Bien, acá estamos hablando un poquito del modelo de monetización o cómo se crea, digamos, las ganancias en Totem. La idea de este colectivo es que, como la palabra lo dice, colectivo, los juegos y los desarrollos sean colaborativos. Eso quiere decir que cuando un jugador entra a la plataforma, compra algún asset, compra algún juego, la ganancia de esas ventas se divide entre todas las personas del colectivo de manera justa y equitativa para que puedan seguir desarrollando juegos. Eso quiere decir que un buen juego, un gran juego popular apoya el de todos, y es una plataforma en la que hoy por hoy cualquier desarrollador o desarrolladora independiente puede entrar, porque es open source, o sea, es de código libre, es gratuita, y es simplemente llegar, descargar plugin, crear sus juegos, interconectarlos, y vamos adelante. Ya van a ser parte entonces de esa comunidad.
Cool. So just a little bit about our community. We are almost 700 people on Discord right now, and our Discord is, of course, also open. So you are more than invited to join us. We have 64 games that were developed up until now with Totem in mind. 42 games are on-chain. And when I say on-chain, we're using blockchain technology to enable this effort and the creation of the platform and the games. So 42 of those games feature assets that can truly be owned by players and shared across all of the different games. Over 180 game creators from 26 countries, which we're very proud of. 48 GitHub repositories when we're talking about the platform side. Over 300,000 lines of code. These are just some nice numbers, to show. And by the way, all of those slides that I'm sharing with you guys, those are slides that we're happy to also share with our investors, because we're also trying to raise funds for the entire collective to be able to continue creating and getting to a point where this platform reaches billions of players all over the world.
Bien, dice Aidan por acá que, por supuesto, todos estos slides que estamos viendo también se están compartiendo con inversionistas, porque se está Totem en esta etapa en la que está consiguiendo fondos para que más desarrolladores alrededor del mundo puedan crear sus juegos. algunos datos de cuántos, por ejemplo, juegos se han desarrollado sobre 64, cuántos juegos están on-chain, que eso significa que están pegados a tecnología de blockchain, pero para que sepan, no es que son juegos con NFTs o que, ¿verdad? O como muchas veces se ha visto y de hecho ha sido un tema controversial. En la tecnología de blockchain ellos lo utilizan en una manera increíblemente innovadora y es la forma en la que interconectan los juegos. Se comunican a través del blockchain para entonces jalar cuál asset tiene que ir en cuál juego cuando hago mis cuentas. Y hay más de 180 creadores de juegos en 26 países, y cantidades de líneas de código, ¿verdad? Más de 300,000 y el Discord, que ustedes son bienvenidos, dice Aidan, ¿verdad? Que se pueden, si así gustan, sumarse. Y ahí va a estar también para que ustedes puedan sumarse a la comunidad si así lo desean.
So one aspect of Totem is that we are enabling game developers to collaboratively create. And a sort of aspect of this is allowing players to own their specific avatars and items, but we want those players to be able to carry those avatars and items across multiple games. And in order to also create exposure and discoverability for this, we've teamed up with IT Dimension, which is a software firm residing in Ukraine, and they've created the Totem Explorer. And this Explorer, you can see here the same avatar, which is currently owned by a player, as it's visualized across multiple games that we have on the platform. And here to the left, you can see a list of the games, and you'll have access to this link. This website is live today, so you'll be able to go out there and check out the different games, and we'll share this link with you in just a bit, because this is going to be a nice segue into the actual assignment that Gabriel will give you. So here you can see multiple the same avatar in multiple games, and here we can see a bunch of items in the specific games that we're viewing. So this Explorer is available now. You can go there, you can start playing some games, watch some videos, yeah, and I think it's a pretty cool product and way to explain what Totem is, in this encapsulated format.
Great. Y aquí lo que entonces están viendo es cómo se ve el Totem Explorer. Imagínense, ¿verdad? Una página como estilo Itch o estilo Steam, donde podemos ver todos los diferentes juegos que están creados en las plataformas, digamos, para la plataforma, y cómo se ven los diferentes assets. ¿Se acuerdan que les mencionaba que, digamos, si yo tengo un muñeco con afro y barba, que ese mismo muñeco puede verse de diferentes formas, pero manteniendo esas características en los otros juegos interconectados? Bueno, esto es a lo que Aidan se refiere y así se ve. Muy bien. ¿Hasta acá alguien con alguna pregunta? ¿Preguntitas? ¿Alguien? I'm opening the mic for questions if anyone have them so far, Aidan, for you to know. Nadie? Okay. Very good.
Cool. So this one is a bit more complex, but I just want to understand, just to dive in a little bit about the technicality that's going behind the scenes for those of you who are a bit more tech savvy, interested to know how we're doing this. So as I've explained earlier, we're using blockchain technology to host the Totem assets on the blockchain. And what we're doing is we're basically interpreting this abstract entity that sits on the blockchain through filters. So you can see here, this is like an example of a DNA, but a DNA is basically just binary, like a bit string. And you can see that we're giving it meaning through different filters. So a primary color, a secondary color, how magical an asset is, what's the class of an avatar. And then the developers are taking those filters and making sense into them by creating their in-game assets, like game objects, basically. So that's like the flow of how things are going. But we're starting from a very abstract entity and going into the specific interpretation inside the games.
Acá está mostrando un poquito digamos, entre comillas, el ADN de cómo funciona la plataforma y cómo es interpretada a nivel técnico con el plugin que se pega en Unity, por cierto, para que los juegos puedan interconectarse a través de la tecnología de blockchain.
Right. This is another feature that we're enabling in Totem, which I think is a pretty interesting one, and that's called legacy events. So basically, assets in Totem have a memory element to them that allows them to remember what's happened to them inside the different games. And you can think about this sort of like Steam achievements, where as a player, I'm doing something with my avatar and I'm able to reach some, special feat or anything like that. But those Steam achievements can be read through other games. So in this example, in a game called Project Dino by Eudokia Studio, which is part of the Totem community, you've just managed to hatch a dinosaur. And this is the top right image that you can see here to the right. But after that, if you go to explore Dreadstone Keep, the Dungeons of Dreadstone Keep, a game developed by Taverntail Studio, which I think have some representation here in this call, there's a chance that you'll find this secret room that features dinosaur eggs. And if you go into the middle of it, you'll receive a little dinosaur companion. So this is one example of what can be achieved through our system of legacy events.
Los legacy events, que es lo que está explicando acá, es otro feature muy interesante que se puede desarrollar con el plugin de Totem. Y es que de alguna manera los eventos de los juegos que están interconectados tienen como un factor de memoria. Entonces, digamos que vos estás jugando el juego de Dino, el juego de dinosaurios, y tenés un huevito de dinosaurio, que nace el dinosaurio. Si luego vas a Dreadstone Keep, que es otro de los juegos de la plataforma, desarrollada por Taverntail Studios, que tienen algunos de los desarrolladores están por acá. Ahí vas a poder encontrar un cuarto secreto que si vos tenés el dinosaurio en el otro juego, podés entonces en Dreadstone Keep conseguir un acompañante dinosaurio.
Cool. And this basically sums up the idea of Totem. I know you may have a lot of questions, but the last thing I want to share with you is our Explorer website. I think actually it seems like we've already sent those links in the chat. Thank you, Chelsea, for that. So you'll be able to already go ahead and view the games there. But the one thing that I want to show you specifically, and this can be a nice segue, I think, Gabriel, into the assignment, is the Totem Explorer games page, which is this one. So here you'll be able to find, this is the Totem Explorer that I've shown you earlier in the presentation, and this is the games page. So you can see there are 40 games here, all of which were created by people from the Totem game development community. And all of those games are available to download. So any of those games, if you click on it, you'll be able to click on play, and this will send you to its website where you can download the build from. So Gabriel, if you want to take it from here to explain about the assignment, that would be nice. I'll just get back to the page that you can explain what this is all about.
Awesome. And thank you again, Aidan, for the explanation. Chicos, esa es la explicación de Totem de Aidan. Vamos a hablar ahora de lo que tenemos en pantalla, que es el Explorer. Ya aquí en el chat de Zoom está puesto esta página, la página del explorador. Guárdenla, por favor, es muy importante, y aunque se les va a estar haciendo llegar por otros medios, por correo electrónico, es importante que por favor también la tengan ustedes. Porque aquí es donde vamos a colaborar universidad y colectivo, de manera que ustedes aprendan cómo hacer QA efectivo y que nosotros seamos o nos volvamos parte de una comunidad global de desarrolladores. Como les decía, para crear más contactos alrededor del mundo y para establecer o generar más oportunidades para personas como nosotros, que están haciendo juegos o están queriendo introducirse en esta industria. Entonces, cada estudiante de laboratorio de los diplomados de videojuegos, o sea, taller 1, 2, 3, 4, y va a tener una asignación para las próximas semanas, además de las otras asignaciones que el profesor les está dejando, de venir acá y jugar estos juegos y hacer un reporte de QA según lo que se va a hablar con los profesores en cuanto al entregable escrito que van a tener que jugar. Son 40 juegos y se ve como que si fuera un montononón, ¿verdad? Pero tranqui, la gran mayoría de juegos son hiper casuales, se juegan muy rápido. Y no necesariamente vamos a jugarlos completos, porque la idea es que se haga un extracto como ejercicio académico de que si juegan los primeros 5 minutos de este juego o 10 minutos de este juego, puedan hacer un reporte según los lineamientos que profes les van a estar dando. Y se los van a enviar a los profes. Y nosotros se los vamos a hacer llegar directamente a los desarrolladores, con quienes luego vamos a tener una sesión donde nos vamos a separar en salas y ustedes van a conocer directamente a las personas que desarrollaron los juegos, van a poder hablar con estas personas y van a poderles dar su retroalimentación para que de alguna manera ustedes también sean parte de estos desarrollos. Y creo que esto de verdad les va a agregar a ustedes un enorme valor, profesionalmente hablando, y además les va a garantizar un montón de conocimiento que previamente no tenían, porque esto es un ejercicio en la vida real. Esto es un ejercicio que aunque académico, no se queda exclusivamente ahí. Es un ejercicio que está pensado para que ustedes sientan lo que es estar en un proceso de desarrollo real. Y para eso le agradecemos mucho a la gente de Totem que ha tenido pues la buena disposición de pues permitirnos ser parte de este ejercicio y permitirnos experimentar también con la plataforma de ellos. Es importante que se hagan una cuenta en Totem y tal vez podemos pedirle ahora sí a la gente de Totem, Aidan, cuál es el proceso para hacerse la cuenta. Aidan, is there a way that you guys can explain quickly how to create your Totem account?
Yes, this is actually very simple. Right now, one of the easiest ways to do it is just to go into one of the games and doing a quick login. I think this will tie very nicely into the assignment anyway. But through the games themselves, you can click on login, and every game features a different user story. So you'll have to find the login button for Totem. But this will enable you to log in via one of your social accounts. So for example, via your Google account. This will immediately create a Totem account for you. And if you continue to log in with the same user across all of the games, you will be able to see your owned assets in all of them, an avatar and an item that you will get immediately. If you want to go a bit deeper into this Explorer, you can also do a simple login from here. And this is just an example of how it looks like. It's going to be very similar to this if you do the login through the games. You could just select one of your social accounts, and it's a very simple, straightforward process.
Bien, lo que nos mencionaba es que directamente en los juegos, que cada uno se ve un poquito diferente porque cada juego lo implementa distinto, pero hay un prompt o un botón para hacer login y si no directamente en el explorador se pueden hacer una cuenta con la que pueden logarse con Google o con alguna red o con Discord o crearla, como ustedes ya saben que se crea una cuenta en cualquier plataforma vida y por haber. Y la idea de crear esta plataforma es que luego podamos tener los reviews que ustedes hacen directamente como parte del contenido de la comunidad, ¿verdad? Entonces, esto lo hizo el usuario o la usuaria ABCD. Así que, bueno, hasta acá. ¿Alguna pregunta?
I have a question.
Of course, go ahead.
Okay, to Ivan. Aidan, yeah, thanks.
Hi, Felipe.
Okay, Aidan, hi. Currently, how are you generating the profits of the games?
You're talking about revenue, the profits, like money.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a great question. So Totem was founded like almost a year ago, technically, maybe a bit more, a bit less, depending on how you count. And we're currently raising funds from investors in order to support this entire endeavor. So we've raised some fund last year, and a lot of the games that you see here were developed using grants. We've basically started creating this ecosystem by giving the studios money in order to develop the games. But the idea is that once, probably after this fundraising, at some point we're going to have players starting to come in, and the players are going to purchase those assets. So they'll purchase an avatar and an item that is sold on a fixed price, which is yet to be determined. But let's imagine it's like $5 a piece, and this money is going to be split across between all of the developers. So this is how we intend to continue running this in the future, and we believe that people will be very happy to pay $5 for an asset that they can play, in 40 games today and 400 games next next year and potentially, you know, thousands of games in the future. But right now we have funds that we've raised from investors who believe in this project and its ability, you know, to succeed globally. And this is the money that we're using in order to get this, to make this happen.
So I
voy a hacer
understand.
una.
Huh?
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, I understand. The games, you can download them for free.
Yes,
and
at the moment, all of the games that you see here can be downloaded for free.
In the future, it may be like games you can purchase.
Yes, so it really depends on how the game creators and the studios want to go about it. There's nothing that prevents you to sell your game, distribute it in whatever distribution platform you want. The assets cost money, but you can decide if your game is being distributed for free or actually sold at a premium model. And we'll see what developers are deciding to do with it.
And how for example, can I like start a game? So you like a new developer that asks for funds to make his game, but what kind of developers can ask for funds?
So what I explained is a process that we have. We had the grant program that we used to enable all of those games to kickstart, basically. And we're still not sure if the grant program is going to remain in this format or not. But it's already possible today to go ahead, you know, with Unity, with our open source Unity plugin, to start developing those games. And the community, you know, will help you in the process. And potentially you'll be able to get funding in the future, or even in the near future. But we're still discussing how exactly to do this, you know, in a grander strategy sort of format. But if you want to start building with us, this is something that you can do today. So just join the community, and people will show you the ropes.
Okay. So you can start like from zero, like, and then maybe you can make like to make contacts. People can start to know about your game, and that's the moment that they can think like can help me, for example. That's
Absolutely.
it. Okay.
And feel free, you know, to approach either me or Guilherme Enrique, who's also here in the chat. We're on Discord. The Discord is open. If you have any further questions about, you know, this sort of pathway, you're more than welcome to join, ask the community. Everybody's very welcoming. So if you have any specific questions to specific people, you'll also be able to do that there.
Yeah,
Otra cosa,
cool.
si requieren, si alguien quiere hacer juegos utilizando el plugin de Totem o utilizando su tecnología, Frame Tree Studio, que es la empresa que yo dirijo, ya ha tenido la oportunidad de trabajar con ellos utilizando la tecnología de ellos, y es relativamente sencilla. Y por supuesto, me tienen aquí a la par. Entonces, si alguien luego tiene preguntas de, hey, ¿cómo se hace esto? Aquí en Costa Rica, en español, a su comodidad, se les puede dar una explicación.
And it's cool because there's a lot of people working together, so this moves better than just making a startup from zero, like with no help at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, just to share this piece of information, but 99% of the game developers worldwide today are indies. There's no doubt about it, probably even a bit more. But they only generate 0.5% of the $200 billion revenue that the entire global gaming industry generates as a whole. So with Totem, our intention is to probably just close this gap a little bit, you know, help the small indie studios come together and use their collective force in order to overcome the AAA studios of the world, if you will. But also just make something cool and fresh and new that can only be achieved through those interconnected experiences.
¿Preguntas?
I do have a question. So actually, I have two questions. One is as a player. So just to make sure that I'm understanding, if I want to buy an item, I just buy the item or the character, or or whatever it is, and then I can go play with the same item in one of the other games that includes that from the marketplace. Is that correct?
Exactly.
All right. Yeah, I think that is a great idea. But the other question is actually, as a developer, is there like a rule or like a set of guidelines or something like that for these assets? Because I'm thinking if I want to use something from another game, like a shield or a hammer or whatever, do I have to follow some kind of rules to use that? And is there a fee to use that item in the game?
That is a great question. So first of all, there's no fee in order to be able to start developing with Totem. It's all open source. It's free. You can start building today. This is very simple and straightforward. To answer the other part of your question, it's about the properties, because as you can imagine, every game developer wants to create their own world with their own rules and their own characters and style. And it doesn't make sense for all of the games to feature the exact same characters and properties. And as you saw in this example here from the Explorer, the characters can be varying a little bit. There are some similarities across them, for example, the primary color and hairstyle, but those are absolutely not limitations or requirements. We do have a set of guidelines, a set of what we call canonical filters that we are very happy to see developers use, because this enforces the consistency across all of the games, so that I know that my dark-skinned character with I don't know, long hair, which is like blonde, is going to be the same character in all of those games, but the developers are not required to use those filters. You can actually come up with your own new filters. So one example that I want to give is, if we're actually going to the home screen here in the Explorer, you can see that we have this is the newest avatar that was created on the platform, avatar ID 824. And in Night Shift Survival, you can see that this character is has a bit of like an angry demeanor. This was actually achieved through a new filter that was created by Nebula Studio, who developed this game. No other game currently features this expression of anger, but they wanted to create this new filter to allow for like more types of characters in their game. So if I'll now look at a different avatar in this example, let's take like 822, you can see that this character has a different sort of expression. And this can only be achieved through the abstraction of those assets that we're using, but it means that every developer can come up with whatever properties they want for those characters and items and worlds, and they'll immediately apply to any assets that was generated by the platform and to any new asset that will be generated by the platform. And it's an important distinction to explain that those avatars and items, they do not come from the games. They are an abstract entity that comes from the platform, and the games can decide how to interpret. Right? So you can see that this character has an asymmetrical hair and has a happy mood, but if you go to Outposts, the hair is not relevant because Outposts are not using hairstyles at the moment, but they do have a mask style filter, which was also created by the team behind Outposts, which is Yellow Panda. They've created quite a lot of mobile games in Totem so far. Hopefully this answers the question. This is a very deep discussion to be had, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a great answer. Thank you very much.
Sure.
¿Alguna otra pregunta, chicos, chicas? No.
Permiso.
I do have
hay
a
dos
question.
personas con la mano levantada.
Yeah.
Primero.
Yeah, I do have a question, but Emma raised her hand first, so I'm not sure if she or he wants to go first.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Aiden. I'm sorry. I'm kind of nervous, but I was really interested. I saw all of this and I got really excited, and I tried to share all this to a group of friends, because they also have an indie game to show them, to expand more the idea, and they were kind of skeptical, because they saw when the post extended it, they saw the word NFT, they were, whoa, how the word has been tainted. But but the thing is, they were questioning, but they said, okay, just let me ask you something, because it was pretty interesting and I didn't know, because honestly, I'm not that smart with this stuff. So it's great that they made me this question, because they asked me, why is it a blockchain? Why not just a standard server? Because they compare with the Steam inventory system, but I have never used the Steam inventory system, and I don't know what it is or how is it different.
Amazing question. Thank you so much for that, Emma, and thank you for sharing our project with the world. So what Totem does today, which is enabling any player in the world to buy and own their assets and play with them across different games, simply cannot be achieved, not from a technical perspective, but more from a philosophical, political theory perspective in a regular server-based model. Because when you have a server that holds all of those assets and manages it, it means this server is owned by a single entity. It means someone is going to be running Totem. And one thing that I didn't explain about Totem, which is very crucial, is that, and I mentioned it briefly, I said we're a collective. And it's true in the most deepest form of the word, because the idea is that Totem is going to be owned not just by me and a couple of people who are running this operation. It's going to be really technically owned by a whole bunch of people and the community who are putting effort into this project. So already today, a lot of the developers here are going to have some voting power and the ability to change how Totem operates in the future. But with blockchain technology, you can ensure that the players who are buying those assets are never going to lose them, and they're never going to be, replaced or changed by whatever means, because they're immutable on the blockchain. And our ability, to create this sort of collaboration in a trustless sort of way, which means you don't need to trust the other. You can actually operate freely without there being a single governing power, can only be achieved in blockchain. And this is a very large discussion to be had, but I'm more than happy to invite your friends to the Discord to raise those questions, because we have a lot of people who may be using their time and energy to go into this discussion and answer those questions more deeply. As an indie game developer, I completely understand them. I was skeptical at first myself, and very quickly, after a lot of deep questioning of Oren Gample, the co-founder, who came up actually with the idea of Totem, I understood why it's impossible to achieve what we're doing without the technology of blockchain. So they're more than welcome to join in the Discord and start this conversation. We're not shy about the fact that we're using blockchain technologies or NFTs, but we're doing this in a completely different manner than the rest of the world. And I truly understand them, because I saw a bunch of failed NFT projects that are claiming to start revolutionizing gaming or whatever, but their models are completely different and they're junk. They're just bubbles, most of them, like Axie Infinity and the Board Ape Yacht Club, which is basically just a closed club. We're trying to build something that's open for everyone and that's aimed at real gamers and real game developers, not just crypto bros and speculators.
Sí, aquí yo quiero sumar algo que siempre me ha parecido muy interesante de esta discusión alrededor de, ¿verdad?, el NFT, el blockchain, que aquí, que allá. El tema con estas tecnologías es que son tecnologías, sí, filosóficamente y en esencia muy buenas y muy interesantes. Es como poder para el usuario, descentralizado, ¿verdad? O sea, yo soy dueño de mis propias cosas, no una empresa que paga un servidor en Silicon Valley ¿verdad? Y se hace con toda mi información solo porque tiene el poder de poner eso en un servidor. Se ha usado para muchas cosas muy jodidas y se ha usado para muchos scams, ¿verdad? Pero iniciativas como esta siento que es como el paso natural de la evolución que a lo largo de la historia las diferentes vertientes o tendencias tecnológicas van teniendo. Que de repente la misma tecnología va evolucionando, va cambiando y se va adaptando y convirtiendo en lo que estaba destinada a ser. Entonces, a ver, y esto es gaming, ¿verdad? Pero este tema de la tecnología de blockchain va también a ir evolucionando, cambiando, convirtiéndose en lo que está destinada a ser en muchos otros tipos de plataformas y industrias. Muy bien. ¿Alguna otra pregunta? Había otra mano levantada, ¿verdad?
Yes. Well, the first thing that I noticed, or I think I noticed, it was that the platform is built on Polygon blockchain. Also, I know you mentioned that there is not going to be any fee. So every minting fee from the platform is going to be taken by Totem. So it's not going to be translated to the user. That's correct.
It's probably the fees that are going to be paid are going to be pretty negligible, but Totem as a whole, as a collective, is going to determine exactly how this model works. So for example, if we're selling the asset in $10 and it's a 1% fee, it's going to be taken as part of the payment, because there is going to be a paying user at the end of it. So it depends on how you view it, but naturally there is going to be some sort of fee that's related to the chain that it's running on.
Okay. And the other question, I know we didn't see too much. Well, we didn't see about the content creation part, but as a content creator, if I understood correctly, what I'm doing is just pretty much establishing like a concept art or a definition of a character or an asset, and that is going to be translated into some specification, which is the DNA that you are storing in the blockchain, right? So the implementation part is something that, well, I guess is what the developers are going to do. So
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's important to note, because so far I've only shown you like cosmetic examples of what can be achieved with Totem, but actually a lot of the developers that we have in the community came up with really interesting ways to interpret the assets, also from a mechanical perspective. So you can note here, for example, that we have a bunch of items from Anvil and Tails, a bunch of different weapons, and they're actually deriving the type of weapon from a value that's either the range or the damage of the weapon. So you can actually come up with very interesting, unique game design ideas on how to approach the interpretation, both from a game design perspective, from a visual styling perspective. We have a bunch of interesting articles about this in our website, and also probably very soon in our Medium. So it's not just limited to have cosmetic like skins, assets and goods. It's also about the gameplay experience that you can have, and you can really go wild with this, because this is not limiting you in any way on how to use the platform and the assets. As I mentioned, they're abstract entities. So yeah, it's exactly like you've described. The developer has complete ownership, and the decision behind how to interpret those assets and what kind of player experience they're going to bring is up to them.
Okay, thanks.
Guys, we actually want to move on to another part, because we have quite a lot of game developers from the community here. And I'm thinking, well, why just talk with me? There's a bunch of people here, super talented, already created a bunch of games in Totem for at least a few months. So for the next part, Gabriel, if you don't mind, what we're thinking about doing is to open the discussion a little bit.
Of course.
And to create a few breakout groups here on Zoom, where you can actually meet face-to-face the developers and ask them the hard questions, not just me, who are currently part of the community. So I'm going to do a brief introduction of the games that we have here, and of the representatives of the teams that we have here. So in no particular order.
Hold on.
Sure,
to make the translation.
Yeah, sure.
Entonces, para este siguiente segmento, para quienes ya se puedan quedar, ya la asignación la saben, ¿verdad? Se les va a dar más detalles por sus respectivos classrooms de taller. Para aquellos que se quieran quedar a hablar con los desarrolladores de los juegos que están en la plataforma y conocer directamente de esas personas que hicieron los juegos, se van a partir como diferentes salones en el Zoom. Y se va, bueno, Aidan nos va a dar una pequeña presentación, una pequeña introducción de quiénes son los desarrolladores y por ende los juegos representados acá. Y cada quien va a poder escoger un espacio al cual ir y hablar con las personas detrás de esos desarrollos. There you go.
Thank you. So in no particular order, I'm going to introduce some of the teams that we have here. We have, as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, just jump and say your names, but we have 6 games here that I'm going to introduce. So the first one is Hango, Combine the Lights to Win the Levels and Earn Cooking Ingredients. This game was developed by Pink Mango, and Alberto is here. to talk with you about his development journey with Totem. So this is like a match 3 style game, which is all about Brazilian cuisine, which I think is a pretty cool and like gives a very like comfy and warm experience to the players. We have Tree Tales. These are not studios. We have both Santiago and Pedro here, and Tree Tales is another mobile match 3 type game where you're going to take care of your plants, which you can see here are your avatars, and use different items in order to get special powers and activate them in playing the game. We have Project Synthesis, which is actually a team from Game Jam Plus who we've partnered with to bring some players into the ecosystem. And Synthesis is actually a co-op game. So if you have a friend to test this game with, it's going to be a very cool experience. And they have, it's basically like a shoot 'em up style game where you can go out with a friend in a journey in space. And protect, as they mentioned, protect the last form of life left in the universe. So if that sounds interesting to you, you want to hear the perspective of some up and coming developers, you're more than welcome to join Project Synthesis. We have Dreadstone Keep by Taverntale Games, which is actually the first Totem game to have its own page on Steam. So go ahead and wishlist Dreadstone Keep on Steam. Shout out to Taverntale. So this is a turn-based roguelike pixel art style game where you're going to go into a dungeon. It's actually a keep that you can go either up or down and fight some monsters and defeat the 2 very cool bosses that they have. So if that's up your alley, you're more than welcome to join their room. We also have Mikhail from Project Dino here. And Project Dino is a dinosaur park simulator, kind of like Jurassic Park, and I should have shown you some of the videos that we have of the demos. But you're going to dig in, excavate some bones, and then grow your own dinosaur companions that you can take care of and make sure they're growing to be healthy, big dinosaurs. So that's Project Dino. And we also have Phaeton here. And Phaeton is a dear community member who is working on a lot of the stuff behind the scenes on the connection between the blockchain side and the Totem Unity plugin, which we have. And we're going to create a breakout room with him as well if you're interested in hearing more about like the technical aspects of Totem. So we're now going to open those 6 rooms. Hopefully you remember the names, but feel free to go into the different rooms and chat with the teams. And I'm going to make sure this happens right now. So feel free to. Oh, I also see we have Guilherme Heckel here. Look at that, because I just opened a bunch of, and I see more people. So Guilherme Heckel is from Anvil and Tales, which is, let me show you. And Anvil and Tales is a goofy cartoon style game that's about a knight that's going to save a dear princess from the hands of the Nerdomancer. It's like an RPG open world style game which utilizes mechanics from Arch Hero, the mobile game. So that one's pretty cool. All right.
And we have also another game called Escape from Space Hell.
True. So actually, Mr. Dev created another game that's called Escape from Space Hell, which is a first-person speedrun style game, like a platformer, sci-fi style that we had like a nice community competition with like a week ago, I think. So yeah, so they have 2 games to show. All of those teams basically have at least 1 game. Some of them have more. So just very quickly, I'm going to open the breakout rooms and let's go. So, and again, feel free to go to whichever room you want. So we have Rango. We have Redstone Keep. We have Anvil and Tales / Escape from Space Hell. It's going to be abbreviated. We have, can someone help me with that, with a list, just because I'm trying to, we have Project Synthesis. And we have Project Dino, as well as Totem backend with Phaeton and Tree Tales. The rooms are now open. So everyone feel free to go to the specific rooms, to the specific breakout rooms. The teams, of course, can go to their own rooms, and feel free to say hi to the developers. Hey, everybody. So welcome back to the main stage. Hope you all had a wonderful
Hello.
time with the developers. I certainly did have, you guys are all wonderful. Seeing the discussions, like the in-depth discussions that you started having here is amazing. If you want to continue chatting with us about Totem, about game development, and meet the developers, we're all in our Discord. So just in case you've missed it, I'm going to send our link to the Discord one last time so that you're able to join, and Gabriel will be able to share with you a whole bunch of other links after the fact, but just for now, just to make sure that you all got it. So thank you all so much for coming. Any final words, Gabriel? You want to sum it up? You want to wrap up the session?
Sure. Sí, gracias, chicos, chicas. Espero que este primer acercamiento les haya sido enriquecedor. Además, esto se alinea con una serie de esfuerzos que vamos a estar haciendo este año desde diversos frentes. Y por diversos frentes me refiero acá a la universidad, al sector productivo como tal, o sea, la industria. Vamos a llevar este gremio al nivel que sabemos que el país se lo merece. Y esto lo que busca es esto, ¿verdad? Que tengamos más puertas, que tengamos más posibilidades y que por ende ustedes tengan más puertas y más posibilidades. Gracias por conectarse, por sacar el rato y pronto les van a estar llegando más noticias a través de los profes. Y los profes que están por acá, gracias por también haber acudido al llamado y ayudarnos a que esto sucediera. And thanks again to the people of Totem, to the core founding team for the space and for giving still hope to indie developers to do what they love and live out of it. So thank you very much.